Hi, hi, hi. How are
Hi.
you?
Good. I'm on my wife's computer. That's why it says
Uh,
her name.
yeah, that's okay. As long as we get it done, I don't care whose computer we're on. As
Well,
long,
she got a new computer for work, so she gave me her old
yeah,
computer to use for my
yeah.
computer now. So
Good, good. I don't care. I don't
that's
care.
fine.
I don't care as long as it's perfectly fine by you.
That's fine. Don't matter to me.
Doesn't matter to. So, I'll introduce the show, and then you can take it away from there.
Okay, I've got like 4 pages of questions I've used
Oh,
for different podcasts. So I'm kind of like, okay, where do I go? Where do I go? So how long
yeah.
do you? I'll let you kind of, I guess, guide the time because you
Well,
know.
I'll go. I was going to say that 45 minutes. Let's actually do 45 minutes to an hour because um
Okay.
I I know you and you want a deep dive. So let's
Well, I don't have
no,
to. I mean,
no, that's the deeper you get, the better.
oh,
So my
okay,
family can learn
okay,
about me. So
okay.
this is why we're doing this. So let
Hey,
me just
give me like
uh,
30 seconds. Let me see. I got to send the text. I need to send a text real quick.
yeah.
Let's see. Let me make a phone call real quick.
Welcome to Ask Gwen, everyone. Today, you guys somehow have a special treat of I have a guest host. I met my fellow guest host by sharing his story on my podcast originally, and now he is actually a podcast host himself, believe it or not. And he offered to interview me. So you guys get the special treat of having a different person on the other end of the mic, and then we're going to see how this works. And so, welcome, David.
Thank you, Win. This is my second time guest hosting, so I'm kind of looking forward to this. It's kind of being it's interesting being on this side of the
It
microphone,
is. It is.
being on the interviewee side. So I think I've got some doozies of some questions, and the
Yes.
very last one, I'll just go ahead and prep you. So when you get to it, the last one, it's going to throw you for a loop, but it'll be a it'll
Well,
be a
I'm
it'll be interesting.
ready to get thrown for loop, David. I'm ready to get thrown for loop.
Okay, so let's start off easy here. Can you tell us about yourself for those that are unfamiliar with Win Charles? Because I know there's
Sure.
probably a lot of people.
Yeah, there's. There's. Sure. My disability is cerebral palsy, and for those of you who have just typed in to Google, what is cerebral palsy? Stop. Number one, stop. Stop Googling. And because I know you guys listen to this on your phone. And so stop Googling. And cerebral palsy is a lack of oxygen injury at birth. So how I got cerebral palsy was I was born with it. No, cerebral palsy isn't genetic. No, cerebral palsy can't get worse. It maintains itself. It's more of a neurological condition due to lack of oxygen at birth. And we believe that when my mom was having her amniocentesis, that they somehow hit the sac and caused premature labor, and then um, and then it waited a couple weeks, and then the her OBGYN said, well, you are having Braxton Hicks. And if it wasn't for a girlfriend, I would not be here doing this interview. The girlfriend who came in 2 minutes after the OBGYN, who had cancer, mind you, he had cancer and was um, dying. And so, if it wasn't for my mom's girlfriend that came in 2 minutes after the OBGYN, I would be dead because, according to the one of my mom's OBGYNs, she was having Braxton Hicks. And my mom's girlfriend goes, no, you're not having Braxton Hicks. That's preterm labor. So you need to get down, hospital, ambulance now. And so, yeah. And so I was supposed to be born in September, but landed up being born in June with cerebral palsy.
Wow, that's that's an amazing. I mean, amazing how you were able to survive that. And I mean, what I've known and what we've talked about, you're still a go getter. You're still a. You're not. Nothing can keep you
Yeah,
down.
yeah, nothing, absolutely nothing.
That's. I mean, that's awesome. That's really inspiring to me because there's days, even on myself, where I'm having a hard day. I'll think, okay, when does it? I can do it too. Let's go. Let's just
Yeah,
go.
and a lot of people think of that day, but if Win can get up and get out of bed, I can certainly get up and move out of bed to put a mask on. And this is what I want to bring to the society now. I want to educate people about cerebral palsy slash educate people about diversity and educate people about discrimination and not being discriminatory towards people with cerebral palsy.
That's awesome. That kind of figure out which way I wanted to go. So that kind of led right into the next question I wanted to go. How have you had to adapt to the new environment we're living in now, both personally
Oh,
and in your career?
uh, and personally and in my career, well,
Yes.
I unfortunately lost my job. I came home to a business trip, and I'm not kidding. And people know this. I was in the from a business trip. I came home here, and I was in the middle of Chicago O'Hare International Airport, which is not my home airport, by the way. My home airport is Aspen, Colorado. And so I realized when I got on a plane in Orlando, Florida, I started sobbing in the middle of the flight, couldn't figure out why. And then when by the time we got to Chicago International Airport, I realized what had happened, and I'm like, okay, you're coming home to not only a world turned upside down, but your life turned upside down because I I like the rest of the world, like to go out to the movies, like to go out for walks, like to go biking, like to go to trips to the grocery store, like to go see people. And I realized that, okay, you're going to have to either dive bomb into journalism or curl up into a ball and say, I don't want to do this. And so what did I do? I dived bomb into journalism. I mean, since COVID started back in March, I had no idea what my journalism degree was going to take on. It's now taking on a life of its own. I have been on so many podcasts like you, David, sharing your story. And and I hate to say this, but we've been blessed by God to have the capabilities to speak and just motivate others. I mean, you motivated me. And so it's like, and you're just rocking and rolling. And it's like, okay, are we going to motivate people, or are we just going to curl up into a ball and say, we can't do this anymore?
Yeah.
Or are we just going to carry on and deal with the situations at hand? We'll deal with the situations at hand. Thank you very much.
Okay. Let me see where we. Gosh, you're going every. There's so many ways I could go with this. I'm trying to figure out how to kind of make this all flow together. Let's go. I know we're in a morning devotional together with Melanie Ake and a
Yes,
bunch of other people.
yes.
And one thing you said on here already, that our faith is so strong and we're such strong believers. So how has this impacted what you've learned about yourself, and how's it shaping your message?
Well, if it wasn't for my faith, and I got shaken to the ground in 2019, and then I got shaken to the ground again in 2020. And so, if it wasn't for my faith and my faith being so strong, and yes, I get up at 5:30 a.m. every single morning because my devotional Bible study is on the East Coast. And I said, okay, buddy, you commit, you commit to this. You people rarely get to see me on video at 5:30 a.m. But we, I somehow committed to this, and what I've learned through that devotional Bible study has been amazing. My faith has, and I thought my faith was strong before starting this. My faith has been stronger after entering it with that crew. I mean, it's like really.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely it's helped me. Here lately I haven't been able to be on, but when I was off work for 2 months, I'm just like you. It made me it made me get up and move, because I thought, okay, you getting up at 5:30 in the mornings. I think Kelly gets up at 6:30 every morning. It helped me really get through the day, and I've got to get back to being on it, because I've had a lot going on personally
Yeah. Yes.
with buying a new house, with getting a new puppy, with
Yes.
get a promotion at work. So it really helped me to have a better day when I was able to get on it. So I totally on agreement with you there. So let's talk about let's talk about let's go this way. Let's go this route for a minute. What are three things that you have achieved in your life that you are proud of?
Jeez. You
I told you it was gonna be
you
hard. You
stumped me
said
on that one.
I
Okay,
told you I was
what
gonna
are
throw you.
three
So
things in my, well, I guess number one would be surviving the loss of both my parents. The loss of both my parents, um, one in 2010 and one in 2019. I guess that would be number one. Me being able to survive that. I mean, here I thought I knew my dad's diagnosis, but here I thought I would never hear the words. out of my stepsister's mouth, your dad has cancer.
Mm.
I never thought I would, now granted, I never thought I would hear the word your dad has cancer in my life. And I'm like, okay, now what's next? Is a treatment plan next? Or is it I need to go home and prepare my life on my own? Well, it turned out I needed to go home and prepare my life on my own.
Mm.
But it's like when when the words of out of your sweet and innocent stepsister, and those were the words she sat on a bed and told me, it's like, Kelsa. And I thought losing my mom was one thing. By the way, my mom died of viral meningitis, but the cancer aspect um, shot me to the ground. I mean, basically, it's like full force, and I'm like, okay, now what? And so, surviving that, doing what I'm doing in journalism is the second one, and just sharing my story is the third one, and the third one is also surviving emotional slash physical abuse, more emotional than physical. But the third one is being emotional slash a physical abuse survivor.
Wow. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah,
Being able
well,
to survive that, or I mean, surviving CP is one thing. Even
surviving CP is one thing, and then losing your dad to lung cancer, and then surviving emotional slash physical abuse 1 month after he dies, and it's like, okay, what can I handle more?
yeah, yeah. I mean, personally for me, I don't know if I could. Just the emotional, just the with myself going through the mental the mental health issues I went through, that is enough. That's enough for just me. But you being able to survive all that or go through all that, that has been amazing that you're still able to function and still able to pick your head up every morning and still go. Because most people and would not be able to handle what you or me have gone
No,
to get
most
through.
people, most people wouldn't. Most people would be on the ground by now.
Yeah, yeah. Let's see. What is your definition of success?
My definition of success, my definition of success, if I can inspire one person to just make a move in the right direction and not to make a move backwards in the wrong direction, and then my day is done. My day is absolutely done. My paycheck is just inspiring people, even though money is nice. If I can just inspire people to move forwards, not backwards, that's my definition of success.
What's one lesson that you've taken that you can take from a past experience, and how's it helped you shaped who you are?
Well, the lesson that I will take from the most recent experience of being emotionally slash physically abused, um, was I need to stand up for myself, and that's what I've been doing. I can't do the victim mentality anymore. I can't do the help me, help me, help me. I need to, when I I am given the opportunity, I need to have people understand my needs.
Yeah. Um, let's see where. Okay. Okay. You're working to better to build a better environment for yourself and the world around you. So, what advice would you give to someone that wants to start journalism or start? I know you enjoy being outdoors or doing things outdoor. What's advice you give somebody that wants to start their journey and it could inspire what you're saying today?
Well, just they say the best time is do it now. The best time is to do it now. And for those of you who have lost your jobs and have lost family members due to COVID and need to re pivot and reinvent yourself, just do it
Mhm.
now because we don't know what the next phone call we're gonna get. So if you're not in a stable place to um, to understand yourself and understand what life has to offer, you will never be in a stable place. So I'm sorry if you are still searching and trying to figure out what you would do. And if you have been given a job and you hate that job and you need to pivot, just pivot now. Don't wait until tomorrow to pivot. Pivot now.
Yeah, yeah. That's a really good way. Really, I've always thought of do it now, or I think Nike's it just do it, but
Yeah.
pivot. That's a really good way of doing it. Or just go ahead and starting now.
Yeah.
So, let's see. Save those for a little bit. Um, so we're all creative souls, and creative souls could be just anything in our lives. How do you approach being creative in your own life?
How do I approach being creative? Well, if there's a problem, I fix it. And I come up with ways to fix it. I happen to have help that I'm very, very lucky that due to my cerebral palsy, I have help. So if there's a problem, I fix it to the best of my capabilities. Like I knew I had a problem back in March when I came home without a job and my world being turned upside down. The aspects of me going out being turned upside down. So what did I do? I fixed it. I said, you know what? Since I got laid off my job, I'm going to concentrate more on my journalism degree
So,
and make that my full-time job. Make going to school my full-time job and make the Asklin podcast my full-time job.
so when you get done with schooling, what do you plan to do with your journalism degree?
I when I get done with schooling, which is coming to a close now, I plan to not only be a voice for the voiceless, but be a voice for the unspoken heroes in my life, aka the caregivers who don't get to speak their voices because they're they're being frantic about what their next move is going to be with whoever they take care of, whether it's a person with dementia, or whether it's a person with Lou Gehrig's disease, or whether it's a person with cerebral palsy. No, those people, along with the people with disabilities, need a voice.
That I don't know of. I know my wife works for a school with adults with intellectual disabilities. So I think that is amazing that somebody that has a, I hate to say disability.
Oh,
I hate to
oh,
say that because
say it,
most people say that. Um,
disability.
yeah, when you have
Yeah, I said
disability.
it for you.
Um, I'm glad somebody that has that wants to change the look of it and
Yeah,
change the status of the.
I do want to change look on it, especially when it comes to special ed,
Yeah,
because right now I'm realizing that special ed got flipped upside down in March, and special ed will not be the same. In fact, as we record this, I'm doing the pros and cons of is online education versus brick and mortar um,
yeah,
education good for students with disabilities. And I'm
no,
coming to find out that it's not good because you can't get creative, you can't understand. So my big wish is to be a digital nomad and slash with my teaching degree and my journalism degree, be the voice for the teachers who are stuck, be the voice for the aides who are stuck, be the voice for the families who are stuck. I mean, if I get aides in my possession and I could get them on stock, they can they can actually live out their lives without um, being feeling trapped. I mean, I've had people tell me privately, for the exception of me, because of what was going on in, now this was before COVID, but I've been known to talk people down out of trees. I mean, they just thought, okay, they were going to bolt out the door, but I managed to talk them down out of trees so much, and when push came to shove, they had to leave me, but um, it wasn't because of me. It was because of another situation. But I think that caregivers are the unseen heroes.
yeah,
It's not the person with the disabilities, it's the teachers and the aides and the families that are the unsung heroes. I mean, your wife, David, in my eyes, is a hero of all heroes because teachers not only they were doing one thing, but now everything got flipped upside down as
yep,
of March. So who's gonna be there for them? If
right.
it's not if it's not someone, and no, you guys, I can't rescue you, admin. My the funny joke is when can you help me speak to my admins, I can be a good advocate for you, but you have to stand up for yourselves and
Mhm.
say, look, this is what I need, this is how we're going to do it, and then
Mhm.
call me in and I'll be the silent cheerleader to say, look, this is what should be done, this is what needs to be done. But I really think that the unsung heroes in the picture are not the kids nor the adults with the disabilities. It's the aides, it's the families, it's the special ed teachers all across this country, and it's teachers all across this country who are trying to manage a class and with a full-fledged mask on. I
Yeah.
mean, I haven't, now for me personally, I haven't seen my aides um, without a mask on. Well, I saw them at the beginning of COVID, and then one decided to put a mask on, the other decided to put a mask on, and ever since then, it's been mask mask central at my house. And so, and this is just because they want to come and help me.
Yeah.
So when it comes down to it, something is wrong with this picture if you're partying the special ed kids for doing the ABCs, but you're not applauding the special ed teacher who is thinking one more time of repetition of can we just move on to the next can we
Yeah.
just move on to the next subject? I mean, gee, peace. It's like, can we just move on? Can at the end of the day, no wonder why special ed teachers are exhausted. No wonder why parents are exhausted. And it's so funny because parents will come on, those who are homeschooling the kids now, and come on us when, and they will say, when I have a bunch more respect for you because now I know what my teachers, what my kids' teachers did during the day.
Yeah. Um, I feel like that was my wife too.
Yeah, yeah.
I talked to her.
So it's like, no,
Uh,
so the unsung heroes are the special ed teachers, and the unsung heroes are the families and the helpers of those families who get to help me keep me organized and yeah.
okay, let's go on that topic real quick before we kind of start wrapping this up because we're getting close to about 40 we're getting close to 45 minutes here. So let's talk about those unsung heroes because I didn't think about that. Um, is there one is there like one maybe two people that has been an unsung hero in your like as far back as you can remember that's helped you the most to kind of keep you going and keep you saying, "Hey," been that silent cheerleader, like you said, to help you be to get you where you're at today.
There's and the list goes on in my book,
Yeah,
but
I bet it does.
um, they they don't they don't necessarily have to cheer me on Facebook. They have to pick me up out of my soul at the end of the day. And as I said, any any aid that comes into my life to help me, to help my stepmom manage me is unsung hero in my eyes because they they don't have to do this. They want to do this, even
That's
though it's a job. They somehow want to be educated about cerebral palsy.
That's-
And it's any aid that comes into any disabled person's life who is on unsung hero in my life. So I bought the aids. And people say, well, don't forget the doctors and nurses. I'm like, what about the aides that get up at 6 a.m. or 7:30 or don't go to bed until 8 o'clock at night after putting the child with a disability, or the adult in my case, with a disability to bed? I mean, it's like, no, no. It's doctors and nurses are lovely, but what about the special ed teacher who got their arm literally scratched by a kid with autism because that kid with autism was so frustrated that he or she couldn't get the words out, so they decided to scratch the teacher. The teacher going curl up into a ball? Is the aide going to curl up into a ball? I don't think so. So that is the unsung hero in my eyes.
yeah, that's awesome. So, okay, I've got three last questions for you,
Go
and
ahead.
it's gonna probably leave you speechless. It may be hard. It may be hard one to answer.
Oh,
I got one for you. Or there may be two. Let me look. Yeah, it's probably just two last questions. So once we get past this current crisis, and if we get past it,
yeah.
whatever that means, whatever past the current crisis means, what are the plans next for Win Charles?
The plans next for Winchell. Well, as we come out of this current situation we're all in, I will officially be a journalist, and so my degree will be done. And so then I can put boots on the ground in journalism, which I'm so happy, and be a voice for the unsung heroes that we talked about earlier.
Yeah.
And then I will just be living life to the fullest. And yeah, so that is that.
Okay. Before I ask the last one, what do you like to do for fun? What, like when you're not in school, what do you like to do to just kind of relax or to have fun?
When I'm not in school, and when I well, we were able to do this, but
Yes.
now
Yeah.
we're not able to do this. I like to go see a good movie. I like to put a good movie on. I'm the type, and so is my stepmom. We'll sit, we'll sit here if a good movie on. We'll just watch a movie, watch watch a movie, and watch just get enthralled with the movie. And it's like, okay, where did the time go? So, unbeknownst to people, they thought I liked music, and music is my second favorite thing. And yes, I can hold a tune when my voice is up to stuff. Right now, I can't hold a tune, but yes, I can hold a tune. And I like listening to music. I like singing. I like dancing, but my favorite thing is to watch a good movie.
What type of music? If you had your favorite type of music, what are you like? Just anything that comes on the radio, or is there a certain type of music that you like listening to?
Um, Geez. Well, I would have to say one of my favorite songs, and there's there's a connection to this favorite song. It's the Pink Floyd. We don't need no education.
Okay.
And
Okay.
believe it believe it or not, the reason why I say that is because my dad was blessed enough to be a professional sound mixer, and he actually had the opportunity to work for Bob Dylan, Neil Diamond, the Pink
Hey,
Floyd. Yeah. So yeah, and so basically, if it's not music, it's a good movie. And the last good movie I saw, and I saw it in movie theater, was Just Mercy. And talk about a riveting movie. Just Mercy was fabulous. And if you guys have ever seen the Black Klansman by Spike Lee, directed by Spike Lee. Oh my goodness, that is a movie waiting to be seen, and that's older. No, it's not. Just Mercy and Black Klansman are not that old, but but it's it the Just Mercy and Black Klansman will teach you lessons about history that you won't learn about. I didn't know that we had KKK out here. I didn't know. Now, granted, the KKK was 4 hours away from me, and so, but I didn't know that the KKK was out here until I saw the Black Klansman. And if you guys remember the incident with the KKK that happened on August 12th, 2018, and with in Charlottesville, Virginia.
mhm.
Well, at the end of that movie, The Black Klansman, Spike Lee somehow got the footage from Charlottesville, Virginia, and put it at the end of that movie. And I'm like, okay, that is fascinating. Okay, so you guys, to those of you who are still watching Netflix or Amazon Movies or Amazon Prime, I would recommend you see Just Mercy or The Black Klansman.
Okay. I'll have to look that up.
Yeah,
Because that talk about the KKK, and we won't go on this very long. The KKK is only from where I live in Bradley County. They're 20 minutes from me, and they're still active. And
yeah.
there's a county near us that black people do not will not be in. You won't see one. You won't find one black people because
I bet, I bet,
they're still active in
because
this.
I bet no. And what the Black Klansman taught me is the KKK is still active.
Yeah, they are.
When the when the incident happened in Charlottesville with the KKK, I'm like, what is this? The KKK? I didn't even know there was such a thing as the KKK, and I didn't. I'm like, oh boy, they're active, and they're still active.
Okay, so the very last question I got for you, and it when I was asked this question, it sounds morbid, but let, just throwing you for a very last loop, and just so when the book is over and done, and the legacy is over for you, what do you want to leave back? What do you want this world to remember about Win Charles?
I want this world to remember about me that one, I gave it my all to teach people about cerebral palsy on a daily basis. And so basically I want those who come behind me, I want them not only to be compassionate towards people with disabilities, I want my legacy to live on enough so that when I pass the torch on to someone else, they know how to interact with someone with a disability.
Mm.
And whether it's the unsung heroes, aka the aides that we talked about, or the special ed teachers that we talked about, I want people to understand that yes, we may be disabled, but yes, we have a brain, and yes, we know what's going on.
Mm. That, yeah, that's a legacy. That's definitely a
Yeah,
to leave behind.
that's how I want to leave my legacy. And yeah, and I have a question for you, David.
Okay.
Where can the people find your podcast, and where can people find you?
People can find my podcast on Apple Podcast. It's Seeing Red with David Munford, and they can find me on LinkedIn. I'm active on LinkedIn. I haven't been very active lately, just with things going on around here
Stuff.
lately.
Yeah.
But I try to get on when I can. But yeah, they can find me on LinkedIn. They can find me on Melanie X Bible Study every morning.
Oh yes, they can
And
find.
my podcast is I'm trying to get my podcast going and trying. I released my first episode last night, so it was short and sweet, and I just made it very raw. I think I'm not gonna edit my podcast. I'm just gonna throw them out there and let it just go and
Yeah,
not.
let it go. The more natural conversations
Mhm.
we have with people in this world, the better.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's what I want it to be. Is just natural and raw.
Yeah,
So
natural and raw is perfectly fine. And you guys, I hope you enjoyed the guest hosting here, because I wanted to do this, and I'll be doing this every so often, just so you guys can get a different taste of me, because you're probably so sick and tired of hearing my interview guys, and I'm like, let's just spice it up. Let's just bring a guest host on, and I appreciate you, David, for interviewing me, and we'll see how this one does. But
yeah,
I want you guys to have a great day, and I'll catch you guys next time. And so have a great day, and just be yourself, and just enjoy life. Enjoy life. And despite this COVID mess, that when you can enjoy life. Thanks, you guys.